big Los Angeles Lakers thing behind, puts on the Laker hat and stands there, and everyone in the room knows he's not going to the Lakers.
Well, thankfully,
and they did it all night long.
Thankfully,
it's just annoying.
And
that's why it's better on the radio. You don't have to watch that stupid stuff.
Well, and I don't remember any questions along these lines last night, but I can remember over the last couple of years, they're like, all right, so you're going to Orlando. What do you like about Orlando? Really love the Magic, the brass, and the coach and all that stuff. And then an hour later, you're with the Nets, right? And so I mean, I think they know better now than to ask them to glorify the team in the city that just took them, because half those guys are going somewhere else. I don't understand like the three-way trades they have in the NBA, how they fit, how they happen. Like, oh well, I know this team needs these three players, so we're going to trade with this team as well, and it's just too much. I can't even
mid-level exemption and
salary cap.
I mean, I know the phrases. I don't know what the hell they mean.
On October 31st, let me look at the roster and see. Oh, that's who's playing. Okay, good. Now I can watch this team and know who the hell's on it.
Right.
And the other part about, to me, the NBA is a remarkable success story in a variety of ways. First of all, they have the most predictable playoffs in all of sports, and by a landslide. And people still eat it up.
What percentage of time does the underdog win? And even like a 5-4.
We looked at this, and I think since
Dallas was the 3
the last team to win the title that wasn't a 1 or 2 or 3 was the 1995 Houston Rockets. And since then, I think 47 of the 48 teams that are in the finals were seeded 4 or higher. The only one that wasn't was the 99 Knicks, who managed to squeak through as the 8 seed before losing to the Spurs for their first title. 47 of 48. And I think 41 or 39 of 48 are top 3 seeds. It's unbelievable. The 1s and 2s and 3s
I don't like
the 1s and 2s just dominate every year.
That's how I'm wired. I don't like that.
When you're not on the home court.
I cheer for sports. I don't think, like, in a playoff series, I don't cheer for, we got to find the best team. No, I cheer for a winner. And I like underdogs. I like upsets. I don't have to determine, this was the best team throughout. Okay, whatever.
College basketball is
that
a great degree.
I think the NBA would be better served if you want that, but I don't think people do. The NBA is about stars. It's a league where people root for players as much as they do
teams. Yes.
The most visible of professional athletes.
Right. It's star-driven completely. I think that the play, watching the basketball, is as much a thing that people enjoy as the final score of the games in a regular game. I don't think they really care that much a lot of times. I think weed has a lot to do with that. I can speak from experience back in the day. I loved watching Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and I didn't care if the Lakers won or not. I didn't even like the Lakers, but I like Kareem.
Yeah.
I like watching him play.
And the picture of him at UCLA with
I had to be unleashed at some point.
There we go.
And the picture
of him
of the show. When he was at UCLA with his head at the rim blocking a shot, you're like, I'll watch that.
He made a sky hook in a series against the Celtics, which I think they ended up losing, I believe.
74.
I think the Celtics won the title that year.
74.
And he made a sky hook to win a game.
At Boston,
and it was literally like 18 feet. I mean, he was way down the baseline. And you're thinking, it's a post-up shot. And we're like, Dave Cowens is like mauling him. And he makes this sky hook from jump shot range.
Yeah. It was unblockable.
I think people, he sort of gets hurt just like Oscar Robertson did, because people remember Fat Oscar at the end of his career winning a championship with the Bucks.
Yeah.
And
they don't
people
remember
old
30, 10, and 10
remember
the first
old
6 years.
Kareem when he was the 4th best player on the team.
Yeah.
Not this unbelievable phenomenon of the best player in the game. So
Oscar Robertson.
There's my Kareem reverie.
Oscar Robertson, people want to say, he was the only guy who could score. Averaged, for the first 6 of his years of his career, averaged 30, 10, and 10.
I hear that.
That'll get it done.
The assist wasn't an official NBA stat to like the 80s or something like that?
Something
like 83.
along that line, I think.
Why did it take so long? How did they figure out, the guy passing it to the guy making it should get some sort of credit here?
I think they sort of kept the stat, but they didn't keep it
an official one.
Well,
college is that way too. I mean, Magic Johnson, I think, had 3 triple doubles.
Well, Oscar
but they're unofficial, and Robertson too. And
he averaged a
but
triple
they
double,
didn't
right?
call him
I think one of the
official
reason
triple
was that there was a lot of hometown scoring, and
doubles.
so
Yeah,
they felt
it's like tackles in the NFL.
Well, it's like, supposedly Stockton, about a third of his assists were pretty shady, right? If he passed it to the guy that passed it to the guy to Malone, then give one for Johnny.
It's like a
hockey assist.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like then it was kind of like tackles are now. That's why you look at a guy. How many tackles does he have in the NFL? I don't know. Look at 4 different resources. You'll find 4 different numbers.
Yes.
And the team number is always higher. The highest of the 4.
And I've never understood, like, they add in the same, like an unassisted tackle is added to, if you have 5 unassisted tackles and 3 assisted, you have 8 tackles. Like,
right.
Well, if you assisted, I don't feel like you should get 3.
You get half?
It should be half, or
right.
maybe there's 3 of you on there, maybe a third or something like that. Because they do that with sacks, you get half sacks, but with assisted tackles, it counts.
By the way,
as a
Mick, we
tackle.
should point out that this fine segment is
Yes.
sponsored by Easton Roofing.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes. Well, I don't have the copy.
Oh, you want the copy right here?
Sure,
I don't
I'll
know
do
how
it.
this. I'm so
I'll
sorry.
do it.
I'm
yeah.
so sorry.
I don't need to
You're
do
in
it. I know
radio.
Joe, and I know the fine work they do, and it's founded on the principles of hard work, integrity, customer service. With over a decade of experience in the commercial and residential roofing industry, they know how to get the job done right, on budget, and on time. Their staff is great. I always get to see Sam at the office on Fridays. Come over there and visit. Often see Joe Spiker there as well. At Eastern Roofing, you find a whole team of people genuinely like what they do, love serving homeowners. They've been growing steadily since 2013. Excited to add you to their list of satisfied customers. It's Eastern Roofing, where integrity matters. They also sponsor my website, and they sponsor my Friday segment, Kansas City Profiles, which today is part 2 of the fascinating conversation with Mike Swanson.
Oh.
Director of Communications and Broadcasting.
I love talking to Swan.
Raytown High School, class of 1977.
I didn't
First
know he was
one-
a Raytown guy.
We did the first one in February.
High upon a hill so noble.
And I repurposed it last Friday. That was, go back and listen to that one. He worked with Keith Jackson,
What a
Howard
life.
Cosell, Brent Musburger, all these people. And then this part is, of course, great for Royals fans because it talks about the championship years. And
He's lived
there's
a
some
career of
really
10 men.
really interesting storyteller.
Last week, I found a way to do a story on him. Had a story on the package on the news on him because he spans both Witts, both Bobby Witts. He was with Bobby Witt Sr., as it is now, in 2001 with the Diamondbacks when they won the World Series. And, of course, now he was there when Bobby Witt Jr. He announced him.
And he is the only public relations man ever to win a championship in both leagues.
Yeah.
Really?
D-backs in 01.
Yes. There's a bit of Mike Swanson trivia.
Yeah, they kept that stat, but
He also went to a World Series with the Padres, so he's been to 3 World
he's
Series
been with how
3
many
different
teams? Gosh.
franchises. I asked him that question. I said, do you know if you're the only one who's gone to World Series with 3 different franchises? He says, I don't know that, but I do know that I'm the only one because somebody told him.
both ways. No, yeah, he's great as well. All right, we're going to break when we come back. More nostalgia here with Danny, the original voice of the T-Bones.
Yes,
I'll tell you where that's going to lead to tomorrow night as well. Stick around. You're listening to the program.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here with Joe Spiker of Easton Roofing. And Joe, oftentimes people will wait to replace their roof until there is a weather event. What should they know about that?
Well, Danny, the important thing to remember is if you're going to turn in a claim to your insurance company, you want to make sure that you actually have damage on your home. If you turn in a claim to your insurance company and they send an insurance adjuster out, it's going to be a claim whether they give you $1 or $10,000. So it's important to make sure that you actually have damage on your home before you turn that claim in. And all you have to do is give us a call. We'll come out, take a look, and make sure there's real damage, and we'll tell you if there's not. Maybe it's just a small repair and it's not worth a claim. So it's always smart to get somebody you trust to make sure there's damage before you turn in a claim.
Quality advice and guidance from Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
Rolling along here on a Friday. The rain looks like it stopped here, at least at the studios.
Supposed to.
Sports Radio 810. It's got a lift. It's got a lift for Hot Dog Friday over at 41 Action News. It's a big, big thing. It's going to start.
Got a lift
here.
for the T-Bones game.
A lift for the T-Bones game where Danny Klinks. Are you throwing out a first pitch?
No, I'll just have a setup there, a table, and my DannyKlinkscale.com banner, and I'll be signing up to give away tickets to a future T-Bones game. So just swing by and say hello and learn more about DannyKlinkscale.com and the Reasonably Irreverent podcast from the original voice of the Kansas City T-Bones right here on Sports Radio 810.
What year was that?
2003? Two or three?
Sounds right.
The year before, 2003. It was the year before Union Broadcasting got the Royals. So the idea for me was that nobody had heard me do baseball here, so I wanted to do the season. I loved it. It was fun. I drove the league. I didn't ride the bus. That was part of the compensation package. And my favorite T-Bones story from that year is they were playing a game in Sioux City, and the next day I was flying out in the afternoon to Disney World with my daughters and my wife. So I was going to drive home from Sioux City late night, catch a little sleep, and off we had to go to vacation. Well, anyway, so it's the ninth inning of the game, and the Explorers, I think that's the name, Sioux City.
Yep.
They're up by 2, and so I love the T-Bones, but I don't want extra innings or anything. So the T-Bones load the bases, okay, and I'm like, oh please, no extras. There's thunder off in the distance.
Oh boy.
So anyway, T-Bones load the bases, 2 outs, and I wish I could remember the guy's name now, but he was a very good player. He got called up to pro ball shortly after this.
Too good, it sounds like.
So they hit a ground ball to this guy with the bases loaded. He has an entire buffet of options. He could step on third. He could throw it to second.
I love this story.
And he just chokes and looks at third, looks at second, and then he just short arms it to first. Ball kicks away, 2-run score, tie ball game. Heavens open up. Huge rain delay. Eventually the game gets banged, but it's like midnight by now.
Did they call it banged back then, or did we just learn that term from Ned?
Called it that.
Yeah. You always got to get banged.
So then it's midnight. It's still like Armageddon. And so I end up having to stay in Sioux City, get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, drive back here, virtually to hop on a plane to Disneyland. So that's sort of my favorite. I think I described it on the air as so-and-so with an entire buffet of options instead throws up or something like that.
You got to cover the late Dirty Al Gallagher we lost this past
year. I did, and he was a wonderful guy. There were many funny stories from that first year. There was a particular pitcher who was not a hard thrower, and so he had done the game the day before, and I went into the clubhouse to get a player interview, which I did before the games, and then I would talk to Dirty Al also. So this guy came up to me and sort of confronted me. He was reasonably nice about it, but he said, and these guys are on the edge. A lot of them, their career, maybe their last go-round, whatever. They're sensitive. So said, my family was listening to the broadcast last night, and they said you had a lot of bad things to say about me. And I said, gee, I don't think so, but, I'll listen. I'll give it an ear. He said, well, you said I don't throw hard. And I said, well, you're really kind of a, sinker slider type of pitcher, aren't you? And he goes, I can get it up to 81 when I really hump it up. So you're sitting there trying not to laugh, first of all, because he's bragging about his 81. And then, and I said, well, you said that I have trouble holding runners. The other team had stolen like 47 bases in the game, and they had a good catcher. So I said, they stole a few bags, but sorry, I'll keep this in mind, and when you pitch, and I'll try to be fair. So I go into Dirty Al's office, and I said, Al, say his name's Bill. His name wasn't Bill. Does Bill throw hard? He goes, nah, he's a puss thrower. I said, how's he at holding runners? He sucks. It's awful. It's the worst thing he does. I'm like, okay, I feel better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. By the way, I'll tweet this. There's a picture of Bertie Al having some fun in the T-Bones uniform. We'll tweet that out.
He was awesome.
What a character.
You're out there tonight, Danny?
I am out there tonight. Come out and see me and learn more about Danny Klinkskill.
This podcast was made possible by